New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Oh, man, we are live tonight. Well, good evening to everyone across the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled throwback and, yes, guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, broadcasting this evening from the super secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts in the extremely secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so secure that Reverend Robert Brzezinski, our Chief Inspirational Officer here at the New Thought Media Network, and also Reverend Jeff Radcliffe, they both do not have any clue where the top secret concrete bunker is located, and we are going to keep it that way. Well, again, welcome. We do have a wonderful show, and we are live this evening, so if you would like to comment, that would be great. If you are shy, though, let me talk to all my shy people out there. You don't want to comment, okay? I have a cure for that. You can contact me privately through pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. Well, hi, Wayne. May the hand of God be with us all. Yes. Yes. During these interesting times. So the purpose of our fireside chat here is to talk about contemporary issues from a new thought, spiritual perspective. And as I keep saying, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on around us, not only here in the U.S., but also globally. And it's okay to disagree with me. I'm all right with that. And that I want us all to start thinking about what is my role in this? How can I help? How can I bring about a world that does work for everyone? If we believe in this thing called oneness, which we talk about a lot in New Thought circles, then we are part of that oneness. So what are we doing here, not only in consciousness, but also in action to bring about a world that does work for everyone? Well, our guest this evening is celebrating two things. First, it's his birthday. And if that wasn't enough, he has a new book on sale here on Kindle on Amazon. And we are speaking of the Reverend Jim Webb, who is the author of a wonderful book called The 30 P's to Prosperity. Jim Webb has a special offer for you this evening, which I don't think is going to be repeated for very long. A special just for people who are watching the New Thought Media Network. So in a few moments here, after he's done packing for his birthday trip, we'll have Reverend Jim Webb on to discuss his latest book. I'll tell you what, after this weekend, Labor Day is supposed to be one of those long weekends where you're not really supposed to work. You're supposed to go grill some hamburgers and hot dogs and all that stuff. Well, I went to a wedding today. I'm performing a wedding ceremony tomorrow and Sunday. Plus, also, I have shows to produce and other things, including getting ready for the next conference coming up in October. So again, this year is flying by. It's September already. Do you believe that? Let's go into our news here. And as we do, this is from CNN. Idalia is still churning. Idalia remains a tropical storm as it moves into the Atlantic after bringing heavy rains and winds to northwestern Florida, southern Georgia, and also the Carolinas. Nearly 95,000 homes and businesses across several counties reported power outages today, and many still do not have running water. To complicate matters, officials say that murky, I like that word, murky, but it's very, very dangerous. So murky, waist-high floodwater could be dangerous for days to come. Again, that floodwater picks up a lot of bacteria and other stuff on its way from the river. President Joe Biden says that he will travel to Florida on Saturday to see the damage firsthand, and he pledged his long-term support to the hard-hit communities. Preliminary estimates suggest that the storm caused over, get this, $20 billion in damage and lost output. And that's according to Moody's Analytics. But the full scope of the damage will become more clear in the next 2 weeks with the release of official estimates of insured losses. And that's one of the reasons why many insurance companies are pulling coverage from Florida. Could you imagine if you are ABC Insurance and having the liability of a state getting hit with Category 2 to Category 5 hurricanes 3 or 4 times a year? Wow. And people say that there's not climate change. We also have news this evening from Maui, from Lahaina. The number of people listed as missing from Maui's devastating wildfire could drop to from nearly 400 to fewer than 100 when authorities provide an update on Friday on their efforts to locate them. Hawaii's Governor Josh Green said, he said that we think that the number has dropped down into the double digits, so thank God. Authorities have said at least 115 people have died in the fire, which tore through Lahaina in a matter of hours on August 8th. And it's been listed as the deadliest wildfire in the U.S. in a century. So initially, more than 1,000 people were considered unaccounted for, with family and friends or acquaintances reporting them as missing. So officials have narrowed that list down to 388 names who are credibly considered missing. But even that list includes many names of many who were alive or who have known to have perished. Once the authorities published the names, more than 200 people quickly came forth with information about those listed. Meanwhile, Governor Green told the Associated Press in an interview on Thursday his administration has opened several investigations into people who have allegedly made unsolicited offers for property in the fire-stricken Maui town of Lahaina in violation of a new emergency order. So what's happening is that investors, and I put that in quotes, I'm an investor. Well, all right. But these investors are going in and offering pennies on the dollar for extremely valuable property on Maui. Governor Green prohibited such offers by signing an emergency proclamation on August 19th aimed at preventing land in the historical coastal community from flowing into the hands of outside buyers. The order aims to give the residents some breathing room as they decide what to do next. If you can show some love through your financial giving for both relief efforts, please do so. Again, thoughts and prayers are supportive. I get that. But what really shows love is a warm blanket, a hot meal, and also people there to start helping people put their lives back together again. If you can, again, if you go to CNN or any of the credible news organizations, they'll have a list of charities that you can give to. All right. Yes, he is back in the news. Former President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty in the sprawling Fulton County election interference case. According to a new court filing in the case, Trump is charged with racketeering in his alleged efforts to upend the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia. Please pray for our country. Please, please, please daily know the truth for our country. Okay. Here's an interesting story as we go into the Labor Day weekend. Return to office mandates are gaining momentum as the pandemic fades and Labor Day approaches, with 90% of companies expected to require employees to work in person at least some of the time by the end of next year. The controversial requirement has been in the spotlight recently as tech giants such as Amazon and Facebook owner Meta demands that staff come into the office at least 3 days a week, despite pushback from many employees. Currently, 51% of businesses require some or all of their employees to work in person, though just 36% of the workers have to come in 5 days a week, according to a survey that was sponsored by Resume Builder. And as I've been saying here for 3 years, the pandemic itself was not all that bad. Yes, we had to hunker down in our homes. Yes, we had to wear masks and lots of other things. However, what happened was individuals had an opportunity to think about their lives and what is working and what is not. And especially, are they willing to work at careers that don't nurture them and also fit the needs of their family? So now what's happening is that another choice is being made here. Do I go back to the office or not? Wouldn't the commute time, which in some urban areas is up to 4 hours a day. Could you imagine that, traveling 4 hours a day to your job? Wouldn't it be better spent that time at a job closer, or maybe even back at home? So personally, I like working at home. I mean, I did put in my time at the county government for well over 30 years in an office with no window. That was no fun. So, and also I can see the employer side also on this. So on this Labor Day weekend, ask yourself whether you enjoy going into your job. Do you see your job not only as a service, not only to your family, but also to the world? If not, I'm not saying go quit your job, but can you start making steps in the direction of getting another career? I've done that. I've encouraged other people to do that. Now it's your turn. We have a couple more stories here, and then we will go to break. Well, LGBTQ rights are back in the news. And a couple stories here. The Texas Supreme Court on Thursday dismissed efforts to temporarily block the state's nearly total ban on gender-affirming care for minors, clearing the way for most of the measures to take effect on today. The law known as Senate Bill 14 prohibits most minors from receiving treatment common for gender dysphoria, including puberty blockers and hormone therapy. LGBTQ health advocate groups call the ruling a blatant disregard for the human rights and dignities of LGBTQ plus individuals. So with the law taking effect today, Texas will join more than a dozen other Republican-led states that have moved to restrict gender-affirming care. And separately, Canada has issued a new advisory. They've issued an advisory warning its LGBTQ citizens of the risks that they could face when traveling in the United States, citing a record number of anti-LGBTQ laws in several states. And they can also include also attacks on LGBTQ individuals. And again, my question is this: why are politicians making medical decisions that are best made by doctors, best made by parents, and best made by individuals? And finally, back in the news again, drag queen Christian artist Flamy Grant joins a lawsuit over Tennessee's Anti-Drag Act. Flamy Grant, a drag performer and Christian music artist, has joined an LGBTQ nonprofit in suing a local prosecutor in Tennessee who has threatened to prosecute them over a Pride event where Grant is scheduled to headline on this Saturday. Grant said, I think it's an issue of defending our First Amendment rights as artists, queer people, and also citizens. Grant rose to notoriety here a few weeks ago. She was the first drag queen to top iTunes Christian music charts. I just love that. So earlier this week, Ryan Desmond, the Attorney General in Blount County, which is south of Knoxville, warned the Blount Pride in a letter that he intended to enforce the Tennessee Adult Entertainment Act, better known as the Anti-Drag Act, if he found any violations at the Blount Pride Festival on Saturday. The festival is slated to present comedy reviews, chorus concerts, and also drag performances. So as of Thursday evening, the event was still planned for Saturday now it's not Maryville. Okay, that's not how the locals pronounce it. It's Maryville. Maryville, if you pronounce it quickly, Maryville. At Maryville College, a school connected to the Presbyterian Church USA. Despite the possibility of protest, the prosecutor's letter referred to potential protesters and counter-protesters. Grant says that she's excited to return to Maryville, and a town which last year she held a packed-out concert on one of her favorite stops of her tour. And we have late breaking news in that case is that the district court there that is over Maryville and also Blount County, they've issued a stay, and that they will again talk about this law, which is, again, I don't know if it has any kind of feet to stand on here. But again, they have offered a stay on this law, and then there will be other legal challenges in the courts in Tennessee. So we will keep on top of that. Jim Webb, I'm at 20 minutes on the news. Isn't that amazing? All right. Well, anyhow, hi. If you wondered what you've dropped into this evening, well, welcome. This is a Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. We are live tonight. Live. You may comment tonight. Let us know what you're thinking. And also, we have a very special guest here coming up, the birthday boy himself, celebrating not 1 year growing older, but 1 year growing better. And that is the Reverend Jim Webb. He will be our special guest. And 30 P's to Prosperity, his brand new book, came out today. And we have a special offer for you tonight here on the New Thought Media Network. Don't say I never give you anything. Okay, no, we're not going to give it away. But we have an extra special low price just for you, just because you're watching the New Thought Media Network this evening. All right, so let's get to some announcements here. Yours truly is currently parking himself at Summit CSL in Akron, Ohio. For more info, please go to summitcsl.org. There you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gathering online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, whatever wakes you up in the morning, and please join us. We have one of the best services, I do believe, in New Thought. And this Sunday will be our speaker, the Reverend Jonathan Miller. So please go to summitcsl.org for more information on how to join our Zoom call. And our service is also simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page. And our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of yours truly when he does the fireside chat, and also when he is praying on the New Thought Media Network. Okay. Our schedule is growing. We have so many brand new shows to premiere in the fall. And the reason that we're able to do that is because of your loving donations to this network. And as I've said last week, and I will keep repeating, because of the conferences that we have been at, we have had a few extra expenses that we did not expect. And we would really appreciate the extra help here. So go to ntmedia.org/donate. There you can give a very generous one-time gift. Or what you can do is you can do like I do, and also Reverend Jim Webb. We give on a monthly basis. Sustaining gifts help us to put together budgets, salaries, pay the bills, and other things that we're doing. We are making a positive difference in the world. Can we get that? People have said for years, well, New Thought is the best kept secret. Not anymore. We're getting the word out there. So again, you can help us do that. And we do that, again, one individual at a time, but again, from around the world. So be there for other people. You get that double blessing of giving and feeling good about your gift, and also knowing that your gift goes to assist individuals in their own awakening around the world. All right? ntmedia.org/donate. Okay. We will have the birthday boy and traveling man here in just a few moments, the Reverend Jim Webb, who graciously arranged his whole schedule to come on this evening. He's probably going to charge me a lot of money. Okay, time for a break here, and we'll be right back. This is the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Choice. your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe DeMuro.
Blessings, everybody. My name is Jafon Seeley. Could you imagine what is actually possible when we start honoring and recognizing our inherent worth, realizing that we are that which is assisting in co-creating our experience? And with that understanding, start recognizing that every human, every individual, everything that we interact with reflects that same inherent worth.
It's not about an adventure, it's about the atmosphere of the consciousness of adventure, the lifestyle of adventure. How many people would say that their lifestyle is adventurous?
My name is Lisa Benson. I'm a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant and the author of Anchored in Bias, Fired Over White Tears. It's a book detailing my lived experiences with workplace bias and what fueled my passion for normalizing conversations about differences and creating safe spaces for everyone to bring the best version of themselves to life every day.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Before we introduce our special guest here, let me just say a few words about the promo we just played for the Associated New Thought Network conference coming up in the beginning of October. It's absolutely wonderful. If you cannot be there in person, go on Antn, ANTN.org. And there you can get more information. New Thought Media Network will be there streaming. I just got my my orders to get my airplane ticket and to be out there on the Sunday before. So again, Anton, what a great conference. And again, if you cannot be there in person, if you have never been to Unity Village, please go. However, if you cannot be there in person, it's going to be 4 days of really wonderful events. And you won't miss anything because you will be online with it. ANTN.org. All right. Here he is, birthday boy, and now, once again, best-selling author, coming out with the brand new book today, 30 P's to Prosperity. That's out today. The host of our Sunday evening prosperity class called The Miracle of Prosperity. It is Reverend Jim Webb. Well, happy birthday, sir.
Well, thank you, Michael. I'm so glad to be here.
So tell us about the new book. What's going on? Why did you write another prosperity book?
I wrote 30 P's to Prosperity because when I was doing its predecessor, Prosperity from A to Z, which outlines one prosperity principle or practice for every letter of the alphabet, I got to the P's, and there were so many of them I couldn't decide which one to use. And then I realized that's another book in and of itself. 30 P's to Prosperity, in addition to Prosperity from A to Z. And what I love about both of these books is that they're both Cliff Notes versions of the miracle, the soul of prosperity. They're both less than 40 pages, so they're easy, quick reads. But what people do with these books is they read one prosperity principle a day. And as they read one prosperity principle a day and meditate on it, and they just go through this process over and over again, before they realize it, they have integrated these prosperity principles into their thinking, into the way they see the world, and into their actions. And they start manifesting prosperity just by practicing these principles regularly.
All right. So there's been a lot on the internet, a lot on YouTube about the prosperity gospel. And what the critics say is that you church people, you ministers, the only reason that you teach prosperity, especially giving, is because that it only benefits you. It only, again, you tell them to give to the church, and then God's going to give back to them automatically. And Reverend Jim Webb, could you explain the difference between the prosperity gospel and what we teach in New Thought?
Yes. The difference between prosperity gospel and what we teach in New Thought is that prosperity gospel tends to focus on money and stuff and the outward manifestations of money and stuff. New Thought tends to focus on our inner thoughts, our inner energies, our inner vibrations, and our inner operations. And the objective of New Thought is to examine those inner thoughts and see which ones cause joy and which ones cause pain, and to modify and correct any thoughts that cause pain so that we only experience joy. And that joy, also known as prosperity, can show up in a number of different ways in our outer world. That joy, also known as prosperity, can show up as professional prosperity. It can show up as relationship prosperity, where our inner harmony is reflected in our outer world in harmony in our relationships. It can show up in family prosperity, where our family relationships are healed, the trauma is healed, and our family relationships become more harmonious. It can show up in what I call logistical prosperity, where our lives tend to work without struggle and without strain, and our lives start working effortlessly due to synchronicities. So there are a number of different ways this prosperity can show up, and it's not just money and stuff, and it's not money and stuff for money's sake. Right. That is the outgrowth of inner prosperity, and that's what New Thought teaches.
Yes, and for those of you, again, who want to criticize myself and Reverend Jim Webb for teaching prosperity principles, understand that it's not only systematic giving. It's not only that, but it gives people the opportunity to start taking a look at, again, what Jim was referring to as the inner prosperity. Again, if you still, I don't care, you can go ahead and give away thousands, even millions of dollars. If you still have stuff from the past, stuff from your childhood, stuff that you learned from mom and dad and from your teachers. If you still have that, it doesn't matter how much money that you give, because there is an inner block. So what this prosperity good news teaches is that, yes, you can have prosperity, but in all areas of your life, not just money, but in all areas. And it also gives us the opportunity to take a look at the beliefs that keep us from our good or our prosperity. Jim, what are some of those beliefs that, I know that you work with clients a lot, what are some of the beliefs that you come across in your counseling, and what advice or what counsel have you given to overcome those?
Yes, I do coaching and counseling, and I've done so for decades. And one of the key things that I see in my clients is that quite often they are operating on an operating system of lack. And what I mean by that is, just like a computer has an operating system. Years ago, it used to be MS-DOS. Now it's some version of Windows 9, 10, 11, or 12. The operating system are the fundamental ways that your mind, your body, and your energy operates. And most people are operating on the operating system of lack. There's not enough time. There's not enough love. I'm not enough, and therefore there is not enough. And that operating system of lack only invites struggle and lack. And that's what then shows up in people's outer world. And so what I teach is that you are enough because you are holy, just, and good, just as you were created to be. A Course in Miracles says, I am not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me. And when people learn to identify and eliminate by healing their negative inner self-chatter about not being enough, they fill that space, that void, with the loving energy of the universe. Mm-hmm. And when they're filled with the loving energy of the universe, that's what they send out. Yes. And what you send out is what you get back. So when you release the negative energies, the negative talk, the negative self-assessments, and the unconscious desire to withhold from yourself and punish yourself due to guilt, and you instead vibrate with, I am enough, for I am holy and beloved of God, you then feel deserving. And your operating system is no longer an operating system of lack, but it is an operating system of deservingness. Yes. I deserve the good God wills for me. And A Course in Miracles lessons 100 through 103 say, God's will for me is perfect happiness. Yes, and yes. I agree with God. So that's what I do with clients. I support them in changing their inner operating system so that they can change their outcomes in their lives.
We're talking with this evening Reverend Jim Webb, who has a program here on New Thought Media Network, which I produce, and that is the Miracle of Prosperity, Sunday evenings at 8 o'clock Eastern. Great show. Guess who we got a comment from this evening?
Who?
Our guest from last week, Henry Harris.
He's one of the most wonderful guests.
If you have not seen the now we are going to do a program this week. Jim is going out to celebrate his birthday in the mountains of West Virginia. So I have been tasked to find the first interview that we ever had with Henry Harris. He is absolutely inspirational. You need to listen to him, and especially last Sunday. And again, all of our programs here on the New Thought Media Network are on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You can go there for free and watch it. Henry was probably, again, and I told Jim this the last time, he is one of the best guests that we've ever had on the program, because again, that here he's overcome all kinds of obstacles in his life. People have told him, well, Henry, you can't do that. And then he says, just watch me.
Yes.
Just watch me. So, yeah. So I know that you wrote 30 P's for prosperity. So what are your favorite 3?
My favorite 3 are persistence, purpose, and power. My favorite of all is persistence. And persistence, the definition of it is obvious. The most important aspect of persistence is keep going because you're in the right direction. Now, most people want to give up the moment they run into a roadblock. And they think, oh, I've not made progress because I've run into that same roadblock in a different form over and over again. When in truth, when you run into a roadblock, that is not evidence of failure. That is evidence of success. Because the roadblock that shows up in your face is the outer reflection of an inner roadblock that you've become aware of.
That's right.
And you only become aware of these roadblocks in order to bring them up, to heal them, to move them out of the way so you can move forward towards your destination. So instead of seeing a roadblock as failure and giving up, see a roadblock as progress. Wow, another roadblock, something else I'm moving out of the way. For as Rumi said, love is always there, for love is all it is. Our task is to remove all the barriers to love. Well, prosperity is simply love. And our task is to remove all the barriers to prosperity so we can allow it to occur naturally, easily, and effortlessly. And a roadblock is a barrier that comes up for removal and is indicative of forward motion. So be persistent. Don't give up. That's my favorite one.
Well, what's your second and third one?
My second one is power. Because quite often in our prosperity journey, we feel powerless. So my favorite prosperity principle of the 30 P's of prosperity is power, because we need to understand that the power to create our world lives within us and is our essence. And even though we may have miscreated some things because we've been miseducated, we can be re-educated and we can recreate our lives. And we have the power to do that. It doesn't depend on our third-grade teacher who told us what we couldn't do. It doesn't depend on a boss 2 jobs ago. It doesn't depend on a bank. It doesn't depend on anything outside of us. Because you see, A Course in Miracles says that everything you see outside of you is an effect of your thinking.
Yes.
So when you change your thinking, that which you see outside of you will change. Because your inner cause changes, your outer effect must change. So we have the power to change. And that's why it's one of my favorite P's for prosperity.
And also, let me also say that the reason, and again, New Thought, I think, teaches this very well, and also metaphysics, is that the reason that we are powerful is because we are divine.
Yes.
We are divinity living as us. So that when we are not out picturing what we desire, again, that gives us an opportunity to go in there and to release and let go of the barriers that prohibit or block our prosperity. So again, it's a lot more than just giving. Giving is important. I'm not going to deny that. And for some people, again, it's the one thing that as you increase the flow of your giving in love.
Yes.
In love.
In love.
I was also reading in Paul's letters this week about the whole idea of giving lovingly, giving from a place of service, giving from a place of that you don't give your last dollar, but you give because that not only does it feel good, but it's also a way of circulating the divine. Again, the divine is always giving to us, always. And so we are the gift. We are the gift. So the whole idea of us getting rid of the layers and the blocks to allow us to experience our prosperity. So what's your third favorite P?
My third favorite P is purpose. Purpose is my third favorite P of the 30 Ps to prosperity. And what I think of when I think of purpose is God's purpose for us and our purpose on the earth. God's purpose for us, God's will for us, is prosperity. God's will for us is happiness and peace and joy. And when we understand that, and when we realize that we were placed on the earth for the purpose of joy, and as A Course in Miracles lesson 103 says, God, being love, is happiness.
Yes,
and we realize and recognize and remember ourselves as the essence of God, it is our birthright to be happy. It is our birthright to be fulfilled. It is our birthright to have an easy life. And so when we remember that that is our purpose, God, being love, is happiness, and God is our purpose, we remember that old scripture, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else shall be added unto you. And as Jesus taught us, the kingdom of heaven, know ye not that the kingdom of heaven lives within us. So in one sentence or less, we are the essence of the energy of God, the reflections and extensions of the energy of God. God being love is happiness. Yes, and our purpose is to be the God intended us to be, and to allow that happiness, because then we are beacons of light that invite others to be what God created them to be. And we anchor that light on the earth, as we heal ourselves, we heal others, because A Course in Miracles says, I'm not alone in the effects of my healing. And when I heal myself, I'm like a radiator that heats a room, and everybody around me has an opportunity to heal. So we heal ourselves, we heal the world, and that's our purpose. And it starts with our purpose of happiness, for God, being love, is happiness, and we are God.
So again, if you wonder what you stumbled onto this evening, this is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. And we're celebrating the birthday of Jim Webb this evening, and also his brand new book out today, which is the 30 Ps to Prosperity, which is out on Amazon. Okay, Jim, yes, time to unwrap the package. What all special
right.
offered? One? What?
This one?
Jim. Reverend. Well, no. That was a good one. So what special deal have you arranged for our viewers to partake in on your birthday?
On my birthday, I'm giving the present. And the present is, I have a special preview price for everyone who buys the 30 Ps to Prosperity between now and September 3rd. So everyone on the air right now, and everyone who watches this program in the next day or so, you can get the 30 Ps to Prosperity for only 99 cents.
What?
Less than the cost of a Slurpee.
What?
Less than the cost of a Slurpee, less than the cost of a packet of gum. And this won't last. This will not last.
Jim, we've had this discussion about you giving away the store. 99 cents?
Yes, but only for a couple of days.
Okay.
After that, the price goes up. But what you're getting, you are getting the keys to heal your life, to allow the good for which you've yearned, and to live a joyful and fulfilling life in ways that you may not have thought possible. For you are getting the principles and the practices that you can do regularly to live this life. And it's quite a bargain at 99 cents. Some people say, you've saved my life.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that nice to hear? when you have put out a book and people have said that they're life changing. And
Yes.
again, the principles that Jim teaches are spiritual principles that, when applied, will absolutely change your life. However, you have to apply them. That's right. So I always tell people, get yourself a big goal and allow yourself to not only visualize that goal, but also to come up with everything that within you that is against that goal. And it will come up if you focus on it and keep doing it. If you apply the principle of persistence, if you keep on keeping on no matter what.
Yes.
So
and
Jim,
in my book, The Soul of Prosperity, which I call the big book, it has worksheets and goal planning pages that help you develop a worksheet. What is it that I desire? What are my goals? What are the sub goals? What is the self-talk that keeps me from it? What are the things I must learn, heal, or change in order to allow it? So it's like a workbook that helps you to map your prosperity journey out. And it's based on some of our conversations, Reverend Michael, about having goals.
Right. And also, again, when you get a good idea, is to start taking action towards that goal, even if it's just reading a book. I was working with somebody, had a great idea, and I said, well, can you just take one step towards that? And again, it does not have to be a large step. It can be something as easy as writing it down on paper. That's a good thing. If you have an idea, put it down on paper first. Make the invisible visible. That's a good way of doing it, is writing it down. The other thing to do is, if I could take action, what would I do?
Yes.
So to get rid of the roadblocks, a lot of times our goals are in sight. And again, I've noticed every single time that I've been so-called successful in my life, it's when not only I've taken the goal and I've embodied the goal, but also when I have taken action on that goal, that even the smallest little action will make a huge difference.
Yes.
And I think that's, again, really, really wonderful to realize. And again, that you were quoting scripture earlier about the kingdom of heaven and the whole idea of Jesus saying that, yes, doesn't your scripture say that ye are gods? Now, again, the interpreters have tried to get that taken away, or they'll say another interpretation, again, based upon their mindset.
Yes.
So that's one of the reasons why what I do, especially when I'm doing a Sunday message, is sometimes I'll go back to the original language, whether it be Hebrew or Greek or Aramaic, and take a look at what they were saying at that time. Again, that whole idea of, it's harder for a rich man to get through the eye of a needle. Again, if you go back to biblical archaeology, you'll find out that the eye of the needle was this very, very narrow gate that what you would have to do to get into the city is you would have to unpack your goods to get through the eye of the needle.
Yes.
So what Jesus was saying, and all the other masters were saying, it's not the riches. It, again, is the attachment and the worship of them.
Yes.
So when we realize and recognize that God is the money itself, that God is the energy in and as and through the money, that again, that as we know that what happens is that, again, those so-called miracles happen in our lives.
Yes. One of my favorite books ever is Let There Be Light by Dr. Rocco Errico. He worked with George Lambza of the Lambza translation of the Bible. And just like the Chinese reverse engineer our products and then copy them, he reverse engineered the language of the King James Bible, translating it back from Old English to German, where it was written in the Gutenberg Bible, back to Greek, back to Latin, and then back to Aramaic, its original tongue.
Yes.
And he unraveled all the ways that things got lost in translation. And so he interpreted it back to its original tongue and its original intention based on the times and the customs of the time.
Yes.
And it was so enlightening. One of my favorite books ever. Let There Be Light by Dr. Rocco Errico.
And we're running out of time, but I wanted to share this nugget. So if you get stuck on where it says in John, Gospel of John, I am the way, the truth, and the light. I'm the resurrection and the life, and I am the resurrection and the life. Mm-hmm. Understand that, again, this is from Rocco Errico. Jesus was not referring to himself personally. He was referring to his teaching.
Yes.
So if you go ahead and say, my teaching is the way, the truth, and the life, that my teaching itself, he didn't say, me, myself, and I. So again, that's one of the reasons why, again, that we honor Jesus again as our way shower and teacher, because that was one of the original Christianities. Yes. All right, Reverend Jim, we're almost out of time. Leave us with some parting wise words.
Party on. 30 P's to prosperity. The one that didn't make it in the book was party on. And what I mean by that, of course, is that we have often been miseducated to believe that life is toil and difficult. But it doesn't have to be. Life can be sweet and joyous, easy and effortless, abundant and graceful.
Yes.
Our task is to recognize that, recognize our deservingness of that as we remember that we are holy, beloved, loving, lovable, love-able channels and reflections and magnifiers of the light of God. And as we do our spiritual practice, we do just that. We think just that. We embody that, and our lives become an outer reflection of God's light. So let's all just party on.
Why didn't, again, that should be in the appendix. All right, so Reverend Jim Webb's special gift to you this evening is that you can get a copy from Amazon in ebook form for only, get this, 99 cents. Now, this is a special bargain for our friends here on the New Thought Media Network. Jim's going to take that down in a few days. So if I think there was it $2.99 or $3.99 that you
it'll be $3.99 or $4.99.
Okay, so he's giving you the buddy price here. He's sowing into your prosperity. So again, take advantage of that this weekend. Go buy the book. Again, 99 cents, available on Amazon. 30 P's to prosperity. My friend, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for rearranging your schedule to come and visit with us. And I want to know, this is a programming note, this is the first time I've ever seen Jim Webb without a tie. He usually has a tie on. So
yes.
All right, Jim, thank you so very much. And we will see you again. Jim Webb is the host of our wonderful program on Sunday evenings called The Miracle of Prosperity. And again, his book is on sale, 99 cents now on Amazon. Hey, time for us to go. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. Enjoy your weekend wherever you are at in the world. And this is Reverend Michael Mangus, and I'm going to wish you a wonderful week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.